Hey everyone, this is Justin with Elite Traders Edge, and today I want to teach you the secret to making big returns in the stock market. So let's get right into how I made a fortune with just one stock this week. The stock we're looking at today is RLX, and as you can see, basically from its IPO, it's just been in a downtrend the entire time. And since there's no sign of delisting, what you're essentially looking for is this thing to finally stop selling off. So exactly at what point does it stop selling off? Well, that's actually relatively easy to find. One thing you want to look at is the volume signatures. What are the volume signatures? One, the volume is on the bottom of the screen. These are all the shares that are being bought or sold combined throughout the day, throughout that specific day. So as you can see, during this entire huge big gapping day, we have this insane amount of volume, usually because it's the day prior to earnings. So you have this huge amount of volume that's just driving this price into the absolute ground. We had some consolidation with a little bit of an uptick, but nothing that really told us that we were going to start an uptrend. And as you can see, when we started our sell-off to continue, this volume still kind of peaked. So what we're looking for is a sell-off that has volume around these really low levels. Nothing crazy like this, nothing crazy like this. We want really low volume levels. So when does that start to happen? We want some type of buying volume to come in. And where do we have it? We actually have it right here around 316. So let's take a look here. 316, you have 2 days in a row that are heavy selling. But at some point, you have this insanely huge amount of buying power with this huge buying bar that's telling us, hey, we might actually be in a reversal now. So let's take this information with a grain of salt and still look back a little bit and confirm that maybe we're either going to have a change of behavior, which may lead into a change of pattern. So what do we have here? There's not a huge sell-off anymore, but we're still in a downtrend. So okay, now we can just kind of keep a look and keep a watch out on this movement. So one thing you want to keep in mind of is the bottom of this price, and that looks like about $1.15. So now we're pretty much guaranteed to retest that if we're not going in an uptrend. So if we're not in an uptrend, confirmed uptrend, wait for this thing to test the new low. When you zoom out and you just look at the stock and see what the price action does, you can see the stock never actually reaches above this $2.73-ish mark, which was a huge line of resistance, really. As you can tell, we were just sitting in this consolidation the entire time. Not a lot of buying, not a lot of selling, no real direction for us to pick. Maybe this would have been a good time to actually see if we were going to test it, but since the stock has been so incredibly weak, I would not have personally put an entry here. I would have waited for this to have a strong break above this level and then maybe wait for it to retest that level to bounce off the new support and then continue a new uptrend. Once I realized the stock was not going to be in a confirmed uptrend anymore, what we were essentially doing is waiting for it to come back down to this $1.15 mark. And as you can see, that happens right around October here. And the one thing you want to keep a look on is, again, the volume. So this is still selling off, but the volume's just not there anymore like it was here. So look at that comparison. Look how many millions and millions of shares are being sold in comparison to this area. So this area is going to be super interesting to me. I'm not sure how much lower we're going to go, but I think we're going to be looking at a change of direction here because the massive selling has essentially stopped. Really just a couple of days later, now we're starting to see some more buying pressure, as you can tell by this bar on the 12th of October. So we're still not in a confirmed uptrend because we haven't really tested any lines of support or resistance. If there's any line of support right here, it's probably the 90 cent or the dollar. Originally, like I said, we've already crushed past the $1.15 mark, so it's more of a matter of time before we're going to start to reverse. So with this big candle, this is a good idea to start looking for potential entries. With this big move, what is that? Almost 30 cents, you're going to be looking for a pullback down to this low, which was 90, looks like 91 cents. And as soon as you see it come back down, what do you see? 90 cents. It actually drops down to 90.1 cents. All this buying pressure starts to pick up, it gaps, it starts to pick up, then it explodes. So you need that secondary test to confirm that that is the bottom. And that absolutely confirmed that that was our new bottom at 90 cents. One thing to keep in mind here, you do not want to enter on this bar. If you do, you want to get in probably around the $1.26, $1.25 mark. But if you're up the $1.50 mark, when was the last time we saw $1.50 with this stock? It looked like 3-4 months ago. It's going to retest. It's going to pull back. So what does it do over the next couple of days? Has a kind of a in-between day where there's not really a lot. There's a lot of buying. There's a lot of selling. It doesn't have any direction yet. But what do you see? You have a pullback. And this is our new low because we decide to open up above the candle, which is super nice. But we did not break this low of $1.25. So now you can use the $1.25 support as a new low. So if you want to enter on this candle, that's fine. Not a personal entry for me because I still don't really know how much more this is going to come down. So what we have here are really only two options. You can probably get in early at this candle, but knowing you're going to probably have to test this resistance at some point. If you get in early and it works, that's great, but you're really just playing a 50-50 game. So what you want to do is at least wait for more of a setup. There's no rush to get into this stock. It has a lot of potential. Now there's a lot of volume coming in from both sides, and we want to see what direction is this going to go in. So you see this huge amount of buying volume that's coming in, sending this price up, almost 80 cents. So what does it do on the down days? Let's take a look at these days right here in particular. Notice this volume in comparison to this. Notice this volume in comparison to these. This is a huge bar, but granted, this opened up, what is that? About 15-20 cents above this previous day. So this having a huge sell-off is not bad as long as we do not create lower lows. And what do? We don't create lower lows, and our selling volume is slim to none in comparison to our buying volume. Now we can start thinking about potential entries for this stock. So where's a potential entry that you could come in? If this was a big green candle with heavy volume, I would be more inclined to come in. But since this was a little bit of a undecided candle, I'm still kind of holding back the trigger. I'm still a little tentative to actually get into this stock quite yet. Even though these are big signs of strength, I still don't want to tie up my capital in a position that's just going to be flat for, however many weeks or months. The thing to keep in mind is just be patient and look for the perfect entry because it will present itself. As we move through November here, we do have a nice, interesting green bar that comes up here, but it doesn't really explode past this resistance of like $1.55-ish. But it does have potential. This would be an area to take a look at, but the volume isn't there. So what does that volume actually mean? One thing we know is that the selling isn't happening, which is awesome because if they're not selling at huge amounts of shares, then our price is going to be going up. So again, the reminder is here to be patient. And if you are patient for 2 more days, check this volume out. You do have some heavy selling. You do have some heavy buying. But what do these candles mean when you have such a big buying bar behind it? What this means is there's a lot of shares being absorbed by the hedge funds. So they're all adding to their positions. So look at this bar, for example, that has this huge wick on the bottom, which means the price was driven down that low all the way down to $1.49, but people are buying it at $1.49, $1.50. Huge hedge funds, institutions, banks, they think that it's a great price to get in. So all of them are getting in at $1.50. But when is a good time for us to get in? We can either get in at a potential break, which could have happened that day, or we wait for, a very nice confirmed entry. As we see, it sells off, and volume is still low, higher low, then boom, look at that big green candle. I actually got into the stock, I think this day at $1.65. I'm not sure if it was this one or this one, but I got in at about $1.65, $1.66, and it just set up beautifully. We had nice big volume, higher lows, higher lows. Even on the selling days, the volume was low, volume was low, volume was low, prices being pushed up, prices being pushed up, prices being pushed up. Look at all those wicks. The setup is extremely bullish. So check this price action out. You can see this thing just starts exploding all the way up with real no signs of weakness at any point. So on the way up during some of these positions, maybe you don't want to start taking profit here because it's only 10, 15, maybe 20 cents a share. You're really just making pennies on the books there. But you could start taking profits here, waiting, maybe adding to your position either of these 2 days, taking profits here, waiting, adding to your position, taking profits here, waiting, adding to your position maybe. But here I think I'm selling the entire time because we haven't seen $3. Let's fucking scroll back all the way here. We haven't seen $3 since March 7th of 2022. So we are a heavy, 7, 8, 9 months since we've seen that price last. So at this point, as you can see, this is pretty much a previous resistance. I would be mostly out of my position at about $2.70, $2.75. I think I was out of most of my position here at about $2.50 because I was seeing this little bit of weakness. So I probably only had about 10 to 15% of my actual position left by the time we got to these two candles. But I'm actually starting to think about re-entering this position because, we are what seems to be in a nice confirmed uptrend pattern. And look at these differences in lows when you're thinking of a bigger time frame. So this next move may be a bigger time frame move. But again, on the down days, volume is low. On the buying days, volume is high. On the buying days, volume is high. Even check this candle out. Big moves, big candles, volume is good. Days that it starts to sell off, volume is low. Again, big candles, big volume. And now I think we're going to be either retesting with higher lows somewhere in this 250 range, or we're going to break right past the $3 range and we're going to start taking off into another potential resistance, which the next one looks like it'll probably be about $4. Let me know in the comments what you think about RLX, if you think it's going to continue in the uptrend and actually reach $4, or if it's just going to hit rock bottom and come back down to 90 cents. And if it does, I'm buying it at 90 cents because I think that's going to be a great deal. Everyone, thanks for watching this breakdown on RLX. If you're looking for more breakdowns, stock market news, or even information on investing in crypto, make sure you like and subscribe.